Welcome to Fantasy Baseball, Baseball, Baseball. I'm Dan O'Day along with Steve Romano. Hey, Steve.
How's it going, Dan?
It's going good because we're going to talk baseball, which you know is one of my favorite things in the world.
I can say I did know that. I did.
The sad thing, or maybe good thing, depending on your perspective, is it's probably more important to me than it should be because I'm not really making money off it. It's not a job. I played wiffle ball as a kid. I played dice baseball then into my adulthood. I played fast pitch baseball. Played baseball as a kid. Played fast pitch baseball as an adult. We played fantasy baseball since it started. Wouldn't you say?
Definitely since it started digitally. Yes.
And you and I, when you moved to Seattle, played through a magazine where we would make picks for $1 and we would talk on the phone to make choices of what we wanted to do in our weekly moves.
Yeah, and that was like it wasn't a thing where, unique players to each team like in fantasy. There's only one
Right.
of everyone. That was just like a build your own team.
Every
This
week.
is this is your budget. See what you can do.
See how many points you can gather. Each stat had some points. So we've been playing. I love baseball, maybe more than I should. But since I love baseball, I'm in these fantasy leagues. I started playing fantasy on Yahoo. We play our head-to-head league through, our Roto League through CBS, and we are in the Field of Dreams League. And last week was the third to last week, and some exciting things happened. Steve,
Oh yeah. I mean, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. Everyone is fighting to be in that final six. We only have 2 weeks to go, and but it did really separate the wheat from the chaff, right?
it
I
did.
mean, yeah, it did.
It separated for sure. There's a few teams that would have to go 9-1 and 9-1 and get lucky. We are also limping towards the end of the podcast season. We had the least amount of listeners last week, Steve. We had 4 listeners last week.
Well,
What are you
you
going to
know.
do? It's a podcast made for 12 people. So right, because
Yeah.
we don't necessarily listen to since we're doing it. So listen, I guess 4 out of 12 is pretty good, but all the other weeks we've been above 10, or some of those listens could have been someone listening to it twice to finish it. But let's just go through quicker, maybe the format. Who knows? And other teams might not be listening because A, baseball's not as important and they have a real life going on, and B, their teams could have fallen out of it and they're just not as interested. So last week, what happened right away? Let's go into my team. I had a really tough week against an active team who's out of it, Lumber Company, back there in 13th place. I was in second place at the time, and Lumber Company beat me 6-3. One.
Ooh, that's
Yes.
I would say that qualifies as an upset.
That would be an upset. I was second place at the time. We tied in runs at 26, had one more home run than me. Besides that, no other really close stats 29, 23 in ribbies. I took 2 offensive categories. We tied one. Lumber Company took 2. But in pitching, Steve, Lumber Company took 4 out of 5 categories.
Wow.
Yeah. I had 67.2 innings, and Lumber Company had 36.2. 25 is the minimum, of course. So I had a lot of innings. And yet, Steve, in those 67.2 innings, I got one win.
True. That's rough. That's very rough.
So I lost 2-1 in wins, 2-1 saves. K's I won easily, obviously, with the inning difference and ERA and WHIP. Lumber Company won easily. So 6-3, big loss for me. That hurt. I mean, I'm still in the top 60, but I was feeling good. I had risen many weeks in a row. I had a winning streak going on, I think you said. And my team just didn't perform. And it just goes to show you, sometimes, I mean, I do have a Kurtz injury, but sometimes you just don't get the stats that week.
Yeah, you were 5-0-1 in your previous six, so that was your first loss in 7 weeks.
Wow. And Lumber Company did a good job, Kevin, beating me 6-3. I tried to make the moves, I tried to do the right things, just nothing added up. Um, matchup of the week. Matchup of the week was the Atlanta Braves at number. I don't know what number they were then, but they are both in the top 6. Atlanta Braves, I think, might have been 7. No, I forget. Atlanta Braves versus Baltimore Chop. Atlanta Braves in 6th position now. Baltimore Chop in 3rd position. Baltimore Chop won 5-4. Another win for Baltimore Chop. They've been hot.
Yeah, Baltimore Chop is on a heater for sure.
5-4-1. Was it close though? Well, what is the streak? Do you have it right in front of you?
Yeah, I'm looking right now. It's well, they've won three in a row.
Okay.
Then they had the three in a row. Then they had two losses and a tie, so whatever. But then one, two, three, four, five, six. They had a 7-win streak from week 6 to 12.
Wow. So they're getting back into form after a little lull. Baltimore Chop had a tough time though. Atlanta Braves 5-4-1 was the score. As I said, runs 26-23 was kind of close. Home run 6-4, both taken by Chop. Chop took the ribbies, averaged 248 to 243. Braves took that, and stolen bases 11-6. Braves took so three offensive categories to two. Baltimore Chop took. But then it was 2-2 in pitching with one tie. And 76.2 innings for Atlanta Braves gave them four wins. And in 26.2 innings less with 50 innings, also four wins for Baltimore Chop. You know, I like to point that out. It's just crazy the uncertainty of the win category.
Yeah, as indicated in that last one, where you only had one win in like
One.
67 innings.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just crazy. And here somebody had 26.2, two-thirds innings more, and they tied in wins. But saves was taken by Braves, Ks was taken by Braves pretty handily, and ERA and whip was taken by Chop pretty handily. So a 5-4-1 victory for Chop. But, for the Braves in the playoff spot right now against a very good team, they held their own, almost tied.
yeah, and I think Braves just lost one spot. If I'm doing the math right, because
Right.
looking what Raptor did and everything. Yeah, so but yeah, still hanging in there. Braves has been a playoff team all year, right? And they were at first or second for a good chunk of the season.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So they're still in the top six. So they were in first or second for a good chunk in the beginning of the season, especially. The next up in what I'm looking at, and I want to go through, is big win for Juiced Up for Summer, 8-2 over the Bellingham Bells. And the Bellingham Bells had come on strong. They were trying to, outside looking in, but still within a rock throw. But this week hurt.
Houston Up for Summer has definitely been on a roll. They have flown up the standings.
What are those last so many weeks, Steve? They won 8-2
They
this week.
have 3 wins in a row. They're 4-0-1. They are 6-1-1. So 6-1-1 over their last 8. Remember, they were the ones, they started great.
Right.
Then they had a 4-week losing streak in like the dead middle of the season. And now they've kind of turned it back on down the stretch.
Well, 8-2, decisive win. Bellingham Bells was scrapping, trying to get the innings and things. Juiced Up for Summer took four of the five offensive categories. Nothing really close. Bellingham Bells took the stolen bases 7-3. And then in the pitching, four categories for Two Stuff for Summer, one category for Bells. Bells took strikeouts with 56.2 innings over Two Stuff for Summer, had 48 innings. Wins was close 6-5. Save was close 3-2. But besides that, ERA and whip an easy win for Juiced Up for Summer. So dominating Juiced Up for Summer moved up in the standings, now in first place. A big win for them and Bellingham Bells. Ooh, that's a heartbreaking loss.
Yeah, I mean, that pretty much eliminates that, right? Yeah, they're eliminated.
You
I
have to
mean,
go
they're not.
10-0, 10-0, 9-1, 9-1 with a lot of help. I mean, technically they could still be in it, but yeah, that was a heartbreaking. They needed 3 good weeks in a row, and they started out with a 2-8 loss that juiced up the summer. And speaking of heartbreakers in the same kind of category as Bellingham Bells, you lost 6-3 to Raptor, 6-3-1.
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was going to be tough. Raptor definitely competes. The first few days, it was 4-4. I thought things could possibly work out. Although I didn't like my pitching staff has been shaky all year. It's patchwork. They've got like some legitimate pitchers on their team,
Yeah,
like
they do.
Chase Burns or whatever. They've got great guys. So I knew it was going to be a tough battle. Yeah, and then it was 3-7. I was losing. It was 4-5. I was losing. I thought I could maybe get to 4-4 again, but by the weekend it was clear I wasn't gonna tie. I was just trying to make it as close as I could.
They do have a good staff. Valdez, Framber, who's pitching better late. Burns, of course, as you said. The relievers are Duran from the Phillies and Hader from the Houston Astros. Cole rounding into form now, it seems like, for the
Yep,
Yankees.
yep.
Bieber had a good one, but had a bad one. Logan Henderson, good when he pitches. Roki Sasaki. I mean, and then Gore even, and E. Rodriguez from Arizona. That's a good staff. And Bubba Chandler to boot just because, and Glass now on the IL. So Raptor ready, looking forward, moving forward with a good staff, taking a 6-3. They took all the pitching categories. Speaking of
Well, I
dominant.
think too, in this particular week, it was 2 week starts for Burns and Cole.
Yep.
So that was solid.
That is solid. If he could get that in the championship round, that'll be really solid. 64.2 innings to 50, but there was no close pitching categories really. Swept by the Raptor. You were able to take home runs 11-7, and Ribby's 33-20, and average 249 to 226, with Raptor taking stolen bases, and you guys tied in runs. 237 at bats, 33 runs. 221 at bats, 33 runs.
I had a few guys who had good weeks on the hitting side of things for sure. Made it close enough.
But that also, the 631 takes you in the same area as Bellingham Bell's kind of out of it.
I would like to point out, I think it's kind of cool in this league. It's a 14-team league. I'm in 10th place, but I'm at 84, 84, and 12.
Yeah,
I
you're in
mean,
10th place at 500.
yeah, that's a deep league.
That is a deep league. You guys are still, technically maybe in it still, would have to get lucky. But as we found out from my matchup this week, Lumber Company at 13th, just big time upset with beating me. You guys could totally alter and affect who's in the playoffs in the next 2 weeks. So there is that. And there's also the personal battle between you and Bells. Both know each other up there in Seattle. And Bells has, in ninth place, has one more win than you. He's 85-83 and 12, and you're 84-84 and 12.
Yep,
So you guys
very,
got
very close.
personal battle going on. Next matchup we're going to discuss is the Momos beating the Creek Expos. Mr. Awesome's Momos won this 7-3 over Nathan of the Creek Expos. Um, Still on the outside looking in, Mr. Momos, but a good week. 7-3 needed that. 6-4 would have hurt him more. In seventh place currently. Took all the hitting categories. And but Creek Expos took 3 of the 5 pitching. So that's nice to see. Creek getting their innings and their pitching coming through. They had a little trouble, remember? And they took three of
Yep.
the 5 pitching categories. But dominating offensive week for Momos. No category was close. And 45 more at bats also. But less innings by Creek Expos, but they took saves, ERA, and whip. And Momos took wins and Ks. So 7-3, big, big win for Momos. I needed a 7-3 or 8-2 since they're on the outside looking in.
Yep. And through the first 2 months of the season, they were really good. They've been up and down, struggling, tiptoeing around the middle of the pack for a while. Um, and yeah, they're now with 2 weeks to go. They're number 7.
They're
Only
number
6 go in.
Yeah, and they're right there with the top 6, really, to be honest with you. Then the next matchup was Humboldt Crabs played IP Tigers. And here's another upset. And here's why, if you're out of it, hey, man, you stay active 2 more weeks because it matters. I lost big, and Humboldt Crabs, who was first place, now second place, lost to the IP Tigers in 11th place, 5-4, 5-4-1.
Yeah. Humboldt Crabs, the commish, who's had a dominant team for a good chunk, right?
Yeah.
One,
Oh,
two, three, four,
yeah.
5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. They started the season 9-1 on their weekly matchups, but
Wow.
now they are 1-5-1.
Are you
Over
serious?
Humboldt Crabs is
Wow.
1-5-1 over their last 7.
That's crazy, and it shows you how far ahead they were. I remember saying they're the team that hasn't doesn't have to worry, and even going 1-5-1, they're still in second place.
It helps that the one win they got over the last 7 weeks was a 9-0 win.
Yeah, that does help actually. But in this matchup against IP Tigers, those big ones are big. They make all the difference in the world.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. IP Tigers took five categories to four. They tied in one category. That tie was in wins, 68.1 innings to 58.1 innings. So at least that was kind of close, 2 wins each. But then three pitching categories was taken by IP Tigers, eight saves to four. That's nice. All the other ERA also taken by IP and whip easily and Ks. Big difference, 79 to 44, taken by Humboldt. So that was the one pitching category Humboldt took, tied in one, lost in three, but Humboldt Crabs, the commish, took three of the five offensive categories. Took homers 9 to 8, ribbies 30 to 24, but close categories. The IP Tigers staying active, making sure getting players playing because they won the runs category 32 to 30, and the average 265 to 263. So that was a close matchup.
Yeah, there was definitely a bunch of little of those individual categories made it close.
Yeah, another win, three more runs, and a couple more hits, and Humboldt Crabs has three more wins. So pretty impressive by the IP Tigers to take that, as was for Mighty La for Lumber Company who beat me. And we go to the last matchup: Mighty Lala Gaggers versus SoCal Stat Stuffers. SoCal Stat Stuffers, a really big win, 8-1, kind of in the position. We'll get into the standings in a second, as you guys are, maybe on the outside looking in, but a big win to keep it possibility over Mighty Lollygaggers. They took all the offensive categories, SoCal Stat Stuffers, nothing really close to on bases 4-3, and then took three of the five pitching categories. Again, wins was tied 2-2, as that's so crazy, and then saves 2-0 and K's 46 to 37 taken by SoCal Stat Stuffers. But ERA was taken by Lollygaggers, the only category 291 to 485. They had more innings, but they had a lower ERA. That's how it happens sometimes. So 8-1 for SoCal Stat Stuffers. And the reason I bring that up, Steve, is because if you think about it, SoCal Stat Stuffers just ahead of you and Bells, right? Only half a game ahead of Bells. But, you know, two more 8 wins, 16 more wins is possible
Yeah.
if some of these lower 4, 5, 6 teams don't do it. I'm just saying. SoCal Stat
Well,
Stuffers is kind of in it.
the sure. I mean, the 9 games with 2 weeks to go is a bit much, but the thing working in their favor is there's really only two teams ahead of them, right? The sixth
Yeah,
place and the seventh place. So they only need to pass two teams. They only need two teams to play like tie or losing weeks,
right,
and they have to have back to back good weeks,
right.
right? Because if let's say they go 7-3, 7-3, so they make up 8 games. Well, then they need what? They
No, they
need
got to
those
go. They got to go
teams.
8-2, 8-2, 9-1. I mean, seriously, for them, they need at least 16 more victories to give them, 8-2 and 8-2 to give them 113, right? Yeah, no, 103. And so, yeah, so
I mean, if they had, if 6 and 7 both went 3-7 and 3-7, and they go 7-3, 7-3, well, then it's a matter of like wins versus ties that are going to separate that last spot.
absolutely. But and then if you're thinking SoCal Stat Stuffers is maybe in it, you got to say Bellingham Bells is too. Only half game back. Once again, have to pull out 9-1, 8-2, 10-0 wins with a lot of help. But you just a game behind them. I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. And I agree. Also, because it's not just the distance, it's just one more team that has to
Right.
play
It is
a mid a middling level or bad because they're ahead
absolutely.
of you, you
Absolutely.
know?
And now the stats do and have changed Juiced Up for Summer now in first place. Is it the first time all year? I'm not sure. I can't say that. But Juiced Up for Summer in first place now by 2 games over the commission in second place.
Yeah, I know that 8-2. Well, because three of the top six teams had losing weeks, right?
Right.
One, two, yeah, and they went 8-2.
And Kamish, as you said, has been 1-5-1 in the last 7 matchups. Still in second place, though, 2 games behind Juiced Up for Summer, and just a game and a half behind Crabs in third place, 3.5 behind first place is the Baltimore Chop. And then I was in second place. I've moved down to fourth place. I'm 4.5 behind Juiced Up for Summer. Raptor in fifth, 5.5 back. And then Atlanta Braves in sixth place, 6 back.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the wins, right? Juiced Up Summer went from 94 to 102 wins.
Wow.
Where Crabs went from 94 to 98. Chop went from 91 to 96. You only went from 96 to 99. Raptor went from 90 to 96. And Braves went from 93 to 97.
When I hear 99, it makes me think of Get Smart Agent 99. Wasn't that Barbara Feldon? Anyways, yeah, so that's the top. You're right. People who had chances to move ahead of that 100 win plateau did not. Only Juiced Up for Summer did. Those are your top six team. And then Mr. Awesome's Momo's right behind in seventh, just 2 games behind of a playoff spot. 8 games back at first, behind the Atlanta Braves, who's 6 games back at first. So Mr. Awesome Momo's totally in this thing. It's a 7 team race. And as we described, 8, 9 with a little luck and big weeks, possibility.
I mean, sure, it would be an amazing thing, and it would be a heartbreaker for whoever, like, like if Braves can't hold on to this. I mean, I get it if Braves loses out to Momos, I get it. But if Braves was to lose out to SoCal or Bellingham, that would be a bummer for them.
It would be. And but I've got to tell you, this top seven race, it's not just six figuring out in the order. There's still one of those top seven, unless we said the eighth or ninth long shot. One of those top seven is not going to make it.
One of the top seven is not going to make it, and the top two get a first round bye.
Right. And I'm going to say it now. Juiced Up for Summer's in. I'm
Right?
predicting. I'm just predicting. He's in. He's not going to follow the seventh. He's definitely going to make the playoffs. I'm not going to second place, who's 1-5-1 the last 7 weeks. I'm not going to predict them making it for sure. I'm definitely not going to predict me making it for sure. This thing, there's one team that's going to be left out, Steve, and that's not good. We had a post by the commish about this last week. What a crazy week it was in the Field of Dreams League. It was a fun and nerve wracking at the same time. 2 weeks left of the regular season. Winner or spoiler, bring your best. Thank you, commish, for the post. Hope you don't mind me reading it. It's getting down and dirty. Only seven, maybe nine, 7 teams left in the playoff hunt. So every moves matter. But it being an active league, Steve, and people being involved, they can play spoiler. And we saw at least 2 matchups last week be spoiler matchups that made teams go down. So we can see more.
Oh yeah, it can happen. IP Tigers, Lumber Company, those are good wins. So-called stat stuffers too, right?
Yeah,
I
8-1.
mean, they had a great one. I mean, I know they beat a lower team, but you know,
They needed to.
somebody
Just
can do it.
to
Yeah.
stay in the contention, they needed to do it. So that was what they needed. It can happen to you. It can happen to me. It can happen to everybody individually. So let's get through some of the moves that happened because I love it. Kind of like numbers. You get into baseball, you love numbers usually. A lot of people mostly do, anyways. And you love all the players. You get into the players, especially in fantasy. And I like seeing which players come and go. And we got some players, Steve. Oh my gosh. Oof. Just real quick on Monday, the 27th, Langoliers was dropped because they're injured. So that makes sense.
That was a bummer for the A's.
That was a bummer for the A's. So Bells picked up H. Lee and dropped Martin Perez. Bells picked up H. Hernandez and dropped Grisham. And I picked up Canzoni on Tuesday. Is it Canzone?
End zone, yeah, because you picked him up right after that two homer game, I think.
Yes, I did, Steve. He did okay. I think he had at least one good game for me. I think I've already dropped him. Oh yeah, later on. And then I was like seeing this guy. That was on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, Cody Clemens was picked up, and Castro was dropped. And there was a couple players who play multiple positions. Of course, Castro plays pretty much every position, but catcher. But Clemens plays three positions, and Roger Clemens' son had a walk-off grand slam that was as exciting as baseball gets, Steve.
Yeah, I saw the highlight of that. It was 2 outs and two strikes when he hit that walk off.
And no matter what you think about Roger Clemens, one of the a great pitcher in his time, that's his son. I dig that. So Cody Clemens was picked up. We'll see if he makes it through the week. Roop was dropped by me after a bad start. I don't like Roop. Beater was picked up by SoCal Stat Stuffers, and D. Lee was dropped. Beater, I think, gets saves every so often. Hedrick picked up by SoCal, and Warren dropped. Shuffling pitchers, relief and starter. Then Gary Sanchez was picked up by Bell, and Bazana, as you know, his friends called him Baz growing up, was picked up by Bells.
Both those guys. I've got to show Sanchez. Maybe he just needed a catcher for the day.
Yeah, yeah. Bazana's had some good streaks, though, playing pretty well for Cleveland. And then Baltimore dropped Schmidt. I think he's injured now. Stony Sliders picked up this guy just because I needed a player on Thursday. You know him, don't you? Monasterio?
Yeah, Monasterio also came over to the Red Sox from the Brewers in the same trade with Caleb Durbin that sent like Kyle Harrison to the
Yeah.
Brewers. And um, yeah, as a guy who they've had to rely on because of injuries in the middle infield, I think Monasterio's been kind of good.
Well, I
Like
got
he
to tell
seems
you,
all
Steve,
right.
he's been playing shortstop, correct?
Yeah.
Well,
Hmm.
I watched the Red Sox Dodgers a lot of that series this weekend. I live in Los Angeles, and that guy's got a glove.
Yeah, he's good.
He's
Like
good.
I don't know. I mean, I know at the trade deadline they've been talking about upgrading shortstop and catcher, but then I went and looked and I'm like, God, he's got an OPS of 738.
Yeah,
And
he's holding his
and
own offensively, and from what I saw in this three-game series, more than so, he's holding his end defensively. He looked good out there.
yeah. So I don't know why they don't just like give him the position, but they don't.
I
They've
picked
been
him up. I
rotating a
think
bunch of guys.
I already dropped him up ahead. I picked him up to fill in that day. I think he got me ahead. Dominguez was picked up, and Sanchez was dropped by Bells. Bells using all their moves this week. Lumber Company added Fairbanks, who I think ended up getting a save eventually if he's still on their team. Lumber Company dropped Santana, who's had a disappointing year. I picked up B Garcia and dropped Monasterio, and B Garcia is now the closer for Arizona.
Yeah, he said they were saying, well, they took Seawald out of the closer position and they don't know who the definitive replacement will be, but most people think Garcia is going to get most of the chances.
Yeah. And so I was happy about that pickup because always scrambling for saves, and then we get towards the playoffs. I'm hoping I can make the playoffs, and I'd like to get closer ready for the playoffs if I make it. Then you picked up Speed and dropped Quantrill looking for stats. Then you picked up Whitlock and dropped Uribe looking for stats or a save. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Fetty gave me a good start.
Fatty P.
Whitlock and Uribe both have like great seasonal stats, but Whitlock's a little hotter lately. Uribe was hotter earlier, so I was just making a switch.
Fetty can throw a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've seen a few times this year. I'm like, oh, who's that guy? Massey was picked up by IP Tigers, who, as we know, had a decent week. Steer was dropped, who's injured, I think, and out for a while. Gasser, Yasser Gasser was picked up,
Yep.
already pitcher by Krabs, and Lange was dropped. I thought Lang wasn't Lang closing?
No, Gasser was picked up for Weisenhunt.
Oh, for
And then
Weisenhunt. I'm
Mill.
sorry, I went ahead. Gasser was picked up for Weisenhunt, and then Miller by the same team was picked up for Lang.
Yeah. Lang had been closing,
Lost it.
but they've got, yeah, they lost it. Somebody else has got like three saves recently for them.
Right. Okay, and then a good drop. Lollygaggers picked up Roop, who I had dropped earlier in the week. Wonder if they gave him a good start. I picked up Baez, who's off the IL for a long time, injured this year, I believe. Multiple position. Got some hits for me. Trying to figure out if we're going to keep him. I like that multiple position thing. And drop Nemo.
Yeah, Javier Baez. I mean,
What's it?
when that contract with Detroit finally ends, I'll be interested to see the final totals for the amount of money they paid him.
Well, once upon a time, Javier Baez was pretty good.
Yeah, real good.
Real good. And so, but healthy now and playing. I picked up Torkelson and dropped Tanner Scott, not really closing for the Dodgers. I'm sure we'll get some saves now that Diaz is back for the Dodgers. But I picked up Torkelson, Steve, because Torkelson's been hitting decent lately. Um, but I got this Kurtz injury.
Really, yeah, Kurtz. I know they have been babying him, but they haven't. Have they actually put him on the IL?
No,
No.
he his hand was hurt. He missed a few games. He came back, played a couple games. Then he hasn't played. They would send him to a specialist. I think they're trying to decide what they want to do. So, and Torkelson, listen, we know Torkelson can be good, at least once upon a time. And I'm hoping Torkelson can get hot for me because I lost Kurtz possibly. Then Jump was picked up. You might as well jump by the Braves and Amaya was dropped in a shuffle of starting pitchers. And Jump can throw a good game.
When I see, I mean, I know his name's Gage Jump, which is funny enough, Gage Jump. But
Can you gauge
when
my
I
jump?
see G Jump, I think of Gordon Jump, who
Gordon Jump, sure.
played the station manager of
WKRP in Cincinnati. Yeah, absolutely. I like Gordon Jump was great as a station manager. His mom owned it. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. Now forever, I will think of that when I see G Jump. Um, AK instead of OK. K has pitched well at times this year. Picked up by the Braves. Murphy was dropped. Richie picked up by the Braves, and Thornton was dropped on Sunday. Humboldt Crabs dropped Horowitz. Humboldt Crabs dropped Swanson. Humboldt Crabs picked up Joyce. Humboldt Crabs that was all Sunday, and that's all the Sunday moves. And then Humboldt Crabs picked up C. Pratt, a little upside at shortstop if they need a shortstop this morning, Monday. And then I picked up M. Clark for $10
Yeah.
and drop Ken Zone. M. Clark, decent upside, decent minor league stats, probably going to get the playing time in Detroit, off to a decent start. I bid $10 because, as you know, in this league, there are $0 bids, as we've been reading over and over. So I spent $10. And interestingly enough, I looked to see if there were any other bids, and there was another bid by the Atlanta Braves. And I was like, I wonder how much Atlanta Braves bid. Atlanta Braves did not bid any money. And you know why, Steve? Because they don't have any money left. They spent their money earlier because, like me, they go get who they want. They don't care about the money. But yeah, I bet you if they had $12 left, they would have used it. Possibly.
Yes. And I like all those picks. I mean, I love the Cooper Pratt one. I'm like,
Yeah.
when I saw that, I was like, wow, really? That was one I should have looked for
Yeah.
because I've
Not
been rotating like what Nick Gonzalez and Bryson
what?
Stott at
What?
shortstop.
Oh, wow. You could have used the shortstop weeks ago, and Pratt's been pretty good. I don't know if Humble Crab's doing it for like a Monday off day, but possibly needs a shortstop. We could go look. And then Javier was picked up by the Braves, and Richie was dropped. Those are your transactions in the past week. And then, real quick, before we get off of this, the matchups are important this week. We're down to 2 weeks. We have, I'm taking, okay, number four is taking on number 11, IP Tigers, but that doesn't mean anything because I just lost to somebody and IP Tigers just beat Humboldt Crabs. So four is down on 11, but my team's got to play better, Steve.
Yeah. I mean, your team's got to play better. And like you said, IP Tigers just beat Humboldt Crabs, right?
Yep, 5-4-1. So
So yeah,
anything,
you better be ready.
yeah, and I love it and I appreciate it. I don't even know if they're listening. I don't think anyone is hardly, but I appreciate that we have these active players. They're not in it, but they're like, no, I'm playing fantasy. I'm going to see it through. You and I in our Roto League, we have a player or two who just aren't doing that. So it's nice to see. And then a big matchup here for SoCal Stat Stuffers in eighth place. As we said, a long stone throw away, but possibly, but they're taking on one of the hotter teams in Baltimore Chop, or at least one of the better teams.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, this is probably the last hurrah,
Right, and there's
right? That
for SoCal stat stuffers. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you can look at it two ways. You're like, oh, we're going against Chop. That's tough. It'd be better if you're going against, a team maybe not with as many wins. But at the same time, if SoCal stat stuffers is going to have to pass people in front of them, beating number three would be a big fail. So it's SoCal stat stuffers needs a good week. Still in it, I say. Bellingham Bells taking on Creek Expos. Hey, a 10-0, a 9-1 win, same thing. I think Bells are possibly, maybe, sort of, could be in it, depending on what happens above them.
Yeah, they at least they have a good matchup, right?
They do, which, as we just realized, doesn't necessarily mean anything. But they are nine taking on 12. Lumber Company and Big Time Haters are now going against each other. And you don't think that's good, but Lumber Company just beat me 6-3. So
Yeah. So I know, right?
yeah, yeah, they're coming up. You're going down. They have a longer winning streak than you do right now. And here's
Yeah.
a big matchup. We have two big matchups within the top seven, and here's one of them: Raptor at 5 taking on Mr. Awesome's Momos at 7. And if I'm Mr. Awesome's Momos, this is kind of what exactly I want. One of the teams right in front of me going against me.
Yeah, and even though Raptors, fifth and almost seventh, there's only one win difference.
Yeah,
96-95,
yeah,
and then
96,
it's a
74, and 10 for Raptor, 95, 78, and 7 for Momos.
so yeah, this is a big chance for Momo. Like this is probably their best shot, depending on who they would face the next week, which I'm going to look right now. And they face number 13 Lumber Company to end the season.
Well, that's funny because Lumber Company's been playing well though. So as of late, the next matchup. So that's a big matchup. 5 or 7, top 7, totally all very much in it. Um, that is going to be what is Raptor and Momos real quick in their last like few weeks. What's Raptor?
In the last few weeks,
Do do
Raptor
do do do. Hey,
it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1-1 is
so Raptors
Raptor.
hot 6-1-1,
What was the other
hot in the
one?
last 8 weeks. Mister Awesome's Momos
Mr. Awesome's Momos
in the last
is
8.
1, 2, 3, 3, 2, and 3.
3, 2, and 3 in the last 8. So in this matchup, Momos would have to reverse course as of late. Raptor at 5, looking for a win. The next matchup, this is a big one for Juice Up for Summer because I already declared they're going to make the playoffs. I think second through 7, any of them could drop out. But I think Juice Up for Summer is going to make it. They're in first place. And another reason because, no offense to Mighty Lollygaggers, they're coming off a big loss, but they're going against the hottest, best team against the lowest ranked team, 1 versus 14.
Yeah, I mean this kind of worked out perfectly for Juiced Up for Summer. They've been on a streak. They retake over first place and move into first place, and now they get a team from the very bottom to hopefully put some distance, so that maybe the last week doesn't even matter to them.
Absolutely. And once again, bottom teams have been upsetting, but lollygaggers have not been hot lately. So that could be a nice. I'm setting myself for a bye week in the last week for Juiced Up for Summer. Then the matchup of the week next week is the Atlanta Braves at 6 against the Humboldt Crabs at 2. And we know the Humboldt Crabs, it's like 1-5-1 or something in their last 7. So this is bigger than it seems. You would think 2-6 pretty safe, but two's been not hot, and the Atlanta Braves has been holding its own.
Yeah, Braves. Let's see. What are the Braves? They got 2-1, 2-3, 3-3. They're 3-4-1 over their last 8.
So that's a big matchup. I mean, and it
Yeah.
is the matchup of the week, without a doubt. So looking at the matchups and how they are put 2 through 7, um, anything can still happen. You notice I said 2 through 7.
Well, everybody. everybody's still jockeying and alive to get a bye in the first week,
Yeah.
which is, I think we mentioned it last week, right? We were like, you said it. In real life, it sometimes makes sense to be like, I don't want a bye week because I want my guys to keep playing and I don't want them to get cold.
Yep.
But that philosophy does not exist in fantasy.
Not at all. Not one bit. You want that bye week, and anything can still happen. Congratulations for Two Stuff for Summer, who's made the playoffs in my prediction here on baseball, fantasy baseball, baseball, baseball. So that's it, Steve. We got 2 weeks left. You're kind of out of it. I'm kind of still in it. We still have 7 teams really in it, and 2 teams stones throw, a long throw, but still possible stones throw away. Always exciting. I love the Field of Dreams. I love that it's still competitive. I mean, think about it. We're probably going to have a fight to the last week for at least one playoff spot.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely think 5, 6, and 7 are all going to be competing for those last two spots going into the final week. Yes.
Right. I'm glad you didn't say four because I'm fourth. So I'm hoping I can sneak in there. I'm hoping I can sneak in there. I got to get my championship back from Momos, who's trying to get into the playoffs. And anything, once again, once you reach the playoffs, anything can happen. Who's hot? Who's healthy? Anything can happen. I just lost Kurtz. So it's fantasy baseball, baseball, Field of Dreams, Yahoo League. I'm Dan O'Day. That's Steve Romano. Thanks for people still listening. Cheers.
Have a good one.